How?
Polyamine metabolism impacts T-cell dysfunction in the oral mucosa of people living with HIV. Hey there, science explorers. Let's talk about HIV, yes, that tricky virus that disrupts our immune system. But today, we're not diving into the usual suspects like blood or lymph nodes. We're venturing into a lesser-known battlefield, the oral mucosa, the soft tissues lining our mouths. Turns out, the mouth isn't just for food and chit-chat, it's a crucial frontline in the fight against HIV. Our story starts with a question: how does HIV mess with a specific type of immune cell called a T cell in this oral mucosa? These T cells are the soldiers on the ground, ready to tackle invading pathogens. But in folks living with HIV, something strange happens. These T cells get funky, losing their fighting spirit. This phenomenon, called T-cell dysfunction, creates a vulnerability in the mouth, opening the door to other infections and complications. Now, scientists like yours truly are always itching to scratch the mystery itch. That's why researchers at Insert Research Institution embarked on a mission to understand T-cell dysfunction in the oral mucosa of people living with HIV. Armed with fancy lab tools and meticulous methodology, they delved into this microscopic battlefield. First, they recruited a team of brave volunteers, some living with HIV, some not. Then, they gently swabbed the insides of their mouths, collecting precious samples of oral mucosa. From these samples, they isolated those mighty T cells. Next, they performed a scientific tango. RNA sequencing, this fancy dance lets them see which genes are turning on and off in the T cells, like tiny switches controlling their behavior. Protein analysis, like examining fingerprints, this gives them a closer look at the proteins these T cells are churning out, revealing their hidden weapons and weaknesses. Metabolic profiling, think of it as peeking into the T cell's pantry, seeing what molecules and chemicals they use to fuel their fight. And what did they find in this microscopic treasure trove? Buckle up, science fans, because this is where things get exciting. The culprit, a group of molecules called polyamines, are playing a starring role in the T-cell dysfunction drama. These polyamines are like little chemical fertilizers, helping cells grow and divide. But in the mouths of people living with HIV, the polyamine levels were all wonky, thrown out of balance. T-cell confusion, remember the gene switches? The T-cell's gene expression went haywire with polyamines out of whack. They started expressing genes they shouldn't and shutting down the ones they need to fight HIV. Talk about an identity crisis. Lost weapons, not only were the T cells confused, but they were also weakened. Polyamine imbalance affects their metabolism, like someone tampering with their fuel supply. This left them with less energy to mount a proper defense against HIV and other invaders. So, what does this all mean? This research is like a first glimpse into a hidden chamber of the HIV battleground. We're seeing how polyamines, these seemingly simple molecules, can influence the fate of T cells in the mouth. And understanding this connection could open doors to new strategies for protecting people living with HIV. Targeted therapies, if we can figure out how to control polyamine levels in the mouth, we might be able to boost T cell function and make them better at fighting HIV. Think of it as giving them a much-needed protein shake before battle. Prevents infections. A stronger T cell army in the mouth could not only fight HIV but also keep other nasties like oral thrush and candidiasis at bay. A double victory in the fight against HIV-related complications. Personalized medicine. By understanding how polyamines and T cells interact in different people, we might be able to tailor treatments to each individual's needs. No more one-size-fits-all approach. Let's give those T cells the tools they need to win their own unique battles. So, what does this all mean? Well, it's still early days, but this study sheds light on a potential mechanism behind oral problems in HIV infection. Understanding how polyamines influence T-cell function could lead to new therapeutic strategies. Maybe, just maybe, one day we can develop treatments that target polyamine metabolism and help restore the balance in the oral cavity, improving the lives of people living with HIV. This is just the tip of the iceberg in the fascinating world of HIV and oral health. If you're curious to learn more about this research or other cutting-edge science, hit that subscribe button and join me on this journey of discovery. Remember, science is all about asking questions, digging deep, and unraveling the mysteries of the human body. So, stay curious, stay informed, and keep exploring the science behind the smile.
Pharma Pal.